I've been characterising it as last budget was the pre-election budget, because this one is actually almost a concept budget. These measures are not going to happen unless the government is re-elected. So the extra $25 billion in infrastructure may not get done. If Labor matched it or decided some of these projects were worthwhile, it would. The income tax cuts, or the extra ones, again, are only going to be brought in if the government's re-elected. So at the moment, the polls, they're a long way behind in the polls. The betting markets are saying they aren't going to be re-elected. So quite a lot of this isn't going to happen unless there's a really big change in the polls. Now, I think in general, the broader question about is a surplus likely to be delivered this year, that looks pretty safe, I think. We've seen a continuing big improvement in revenues in the last 12 to 18 months. They're also tightening up on welfare spending. So the track of the budget numbers is pretty good. So I think it is reasonable to project that surplus next year, and as you say, the first in over a decade.
Okay, so you don't think that some of those assumptions when it comes to growth and wages then are a little bit too lofty? And I just want to pick up on something that you said, Ivan, about the government being so far behind. Why then didn't they come out and splash even more election sweeteners then to try and win over voters? Was it simply a case of them not wanting to look irresponsible, or could the budget not take more spending from the government?
Look, I think a mixture of both. I think there's politics, obviously, in the budget. So you heard last night in the budget speech, back to surplus without tax increases. So that's a hint of what the election campaign's going to sound like. So Labor is promising bigger surpluses, and they describe them as better surpluses. But the government will be able to say you're increasing taxes to get to those surpluses, whereas obviously the government is talking about getting there without having to resort to higher taxes. It's also, I think, the case that they've almost run out of time. They can't get these measures through before they have to dissolve Parliament and call the election. There's probably a few sitting days, including today, but the election is expected to be called either Friday, Saturday, Sunday or Monday this week. So it's very, very close. To give I mean, again, they could have promised a lot more, but again, if they're not re-elected, that doesn't happen. And I think also, in a broad sense, they are campaigning, and they will campaign, about being better economic managers. If they came out and spent a huge amount of money, then they wouldn't have been able to have those forecast budget surpluses to use the story that we're now beginning to reduce Australia's debt, building up fiscal policy so that if there is a downturn in the economy going forward, that they have some ammunition to use. So I think it's a mixture of all of those three factors.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.